Okay, I think the camera is now working. So
Yes, I see you now.
okay, great. Let me adjust this a little bit more here to a more pleasant view of myself.
Okay.
Right.
Oh my!
Get everybody
to
stand by for just a moment. We'll give a countdown. It's 2:01 right now. We'll start at exactly 2:03. So we'll give everybody 3 minutes to come on, then I'll begin. So if you can all mute your phones, mute your computers, we'll get started.
It'll be nice. I don't like my handiwork.
Don't make any extra noises. Yep, in 1 minute.
Take that to the back.
Oh, and some chicken too.
I'll bring the water out.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started once you guys all get sat down. Nomad Dash. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Albert Glenn. I'm the director of the OBAP Luke Weathers Flight Academy located in Olive Branch, Mississippi. I want to thank everyone for attending this opportunity to honor a Memphis hero and legend and a Tuskegee Airman, Second Lieutenant Jerry Hodges. Also like to thank the Memphis chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, and Team Memphis for making this possible today. Our moderator today is going to be retired FedEx captain, former Air Force pilot, and president of the Memphis chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, Captain Calvin James. Calvin, over to you.
His mic is off, Al.
See if I can, somebody might have muted me, but I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, well, good afternoon to everybody. I'm Calvin James. First, I'd like to say that Second Lieutenant Hodges was not feeling well this morning, so it's possible that he may not be on the call, but we are recording this, so he will be able to view it later on. And when any of us reach the age of 96, we're going to have good days and bad days. So it's good to have good days and bad days as opposed to having no days at all. So we're going to continue with everything as planned. I would like to also express our appreciation to the OBAP Luke Weathers Flight Academy for providing use of their Zoom network for this occasion. And thank you to all for attending and helping us honor this American hero. We are celebrating from straight out of Memphis, Second Lieutenant Jerry Hodges. This is a Memphis recognition. Mr. Hodges will accept additional congrats via email You can use the Tuskegee Airmen Memphis chapter email address, taimem@aol.com. That's taimem@aol.com. And we will forward any comments to him. So we'll use that one unless he comes online or someone gives us another email address or phone number to contact him. We do have a limited time, so no additional speakers other than those that are on the program. Questions can be sent in via the chat, and Mr. Hodges will be answering those later on, time permitting and conditions permitting. I'd also like to acknowledge that from Tuskegee Airmen International, or Incorporated rather, our Central Region Rep, Mr. Ruben Sparks, should be on the Zoom call. So we do have some recognition there from the national level as well. I am a graduate myself of Tuskegee University. Most of my Air Force ROTC instructors from 1967 to 1971 were original Tuskegee Airmen. I didn't realize that at the time. They didn't brag about it, boast about it, but they were indeed those individuals. And I was taught how to fly by Tuskegee Airmen civilian chief flight instructor, Chief Charles Alfred Anderson, back in 1970. We're very proud to have the students of the Luke Weathers Flight Academy continue the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. You are the next generation of flyers, so make us proud. And in the words of the 1943 song by Nat King Cole, straighten up and fly right. Next, we have a bio and belated happy birthday from little Miss Macy Langford, who attends the Lausanne Collegiate School in Memphis, Tennessee. She is Thelma Rudd's 15-year-old granddaughter. So Macy, you may proceed.
Hello, good evening. Jerry Hodges Jr. was born in Memphis, Tennessee on June 29th, 1925 to Jerry Hodges Sr. and May Patterson Hodges. He attended Porter Elementary in Memphis and graduated as the class of 1943 Robert Moton High School valedictorian in Arkansas. Hodges went on to serve as a documented original Tuskegee Airman. He later pursued a career in accounting, becoming the vice president of Casualty Insurance Company, one of the first African-American owned insurance companies in California. Hodges is a successful businessman and has been involved in many civic activities. He was one of the founders of the Los Angeles branch of the David Rockefeller Interracial Council on Business Opportunity. He also chaired and served as president of the nonprofit Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship Foundation. This Memphis native was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame in 2012. Memphis is elated to honor Second Lieutenant Jerry Hodges Jr. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Next, we have from Aviation in Memphis and Shelby County Schools, Mr. Ralph Sherlow. He is a Shelby County Schools aeronautics teacher. He was born in Germany to multinational parents, studied economics at the University Duisburg. I can't pronounce the rest of it. It's located in Germany. He will help me with that pronunciation. He graduated from the University of Memphis in Aviation Administration and holds a master's in education from Union University. So Ralph, you may proceed. Are you still on mute? Okay, I'm showing mute.
Unmute. There we go. I'm sorry. Cardinal mistake. I blame all you.
Okay.
And now I'm making the same. Just joking. Well, thank you guys for inviting me, and happy belated birthday. I was really looking forward to having a chat with a gentleman of that distinguished age, and I would like to know the recipe on how I can copy that. How do I get to that age? But anyway, my name is Ralph Sherlow. I am a teacher at East High School in Memphis, Tennessee. As you said, Calvin, I'm a son of multinational parents, and the name of the university in Essen is Universität Essen-Duisburg, or Duisburg-Essen, however you want to say it. When I went there, it was the University of Essen, but they changed the name and it is now Duisburg-Essen. Anyway, I teach at a magnet school in the inner city of Memphis. And this school has a transportation theme. And we are currently at an enrollment of about 500 students at our school. And approximately 90 of those students are taking aviation classes. Our aviation program at the school is very rigorous. Currently, we have several students working on their private pilot license. And also this Sunday, tomorrow, we have several students that will be attending the Luke Weathers Solo Flight Academy. I have to say that I am very proud of being part of this endeavor in Memphis, giving minority students an opportunity to be part of what so many people here in this country call the American dream, I guess. And so this, to me, is a labor of honor. I have to really say that. And I think that I can, in many ways, have a lot of empathy for the students at our school, especially the minority students. I also have to mention that all of this, what we are doing and what I am doing, a lot of that would probably not be possible if it weren't for the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. We have access to the airplane over there. I can give students orientation flights. I call it setting the hook. And, you know, we are blessed in our classroom that we have all the things at our disposal over there that otherwise we wouldn't have, such as a Redbird simulator, desktop simulators. None of that really would be possible if it weren't for the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. And so once again, I want to say that I am very, very proud to be part of this endeavor here in Memphis. And I am also very honored that I was invited to this particular Zoom meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sherlock. Next, we have an Omega salute from Mr. Jonathan Carmichael. He is a Talladega College graduate, a retired air traffic controller, married, father of 3, church deacon at Mount Pisco Missionary Baptist Church in East Tennessee. He's an Eagle Scout and a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the Epsilon Phi graduate chapter in Memphis, Tennessee. Mr. Carmichael, you may proceed.
Good afternoon. As you already said, my name is Jonathan Carmichael. I am a member of the Epsilon Phi chapter, graduate chapter, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, 5th District, Memphis, Tennessee. And as Second Lieutenant Brother Hodges and I know, we have the greatest fraternity in the world. We have chapters all over the world, even in China. Friendship is essential to the soul. Your accomplishments, Second Lieutenant Brother Hodges, to simplify what it is to be an Omega man. Throughout your career, you have demonstrated our cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. It is my honor and pleasure to give you an Omega shout out, as Omega men have contributed and continue to be on the front lines providing uplifts to our communities. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carmichael. Next, we have an Arkansas Black history information coming from Professor Edmund Davis, who is a professor of history at the Arkansas Baptist College. He is an author of, quote, Pioneering African-American Aviators, end quote, which is featuring the Tuskegee Airmen of Arkansas. Professor Davis, you may proceed.
Thank you. I hold this in high esteem. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. And so I want to say thank you all for inviting me on, from Ms. Thelma Rudd to all of our distinguished speakers and aviators. Again, my name is Edmund Davis, and I'm a transplant Southerner. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I've come to know Second Lieutenant Mr. Hodges via another one of his instructors, who was a Hampton Institute, now Hampton University, a person who went to Tuskegee as well. And that was, of course, Dr. Roscoe Draper out of the Philadelphia area. I believe Mr. Roscoe Draper and I have had great conversations in the past, alluded to my first book that I wrote about the Tuskegee Airmen, but he would always mention Second Lieutenant Hodges as being one of the standout upper echelon cadets, if you will. And so, of course, being born in 1925, Mr. Hodges, that is, in a small town called, of course, in Memphis, but being raised in a town called Heth, Arkansas, just right across the river. It was just amazing to know that how sharp he is and just the things that he's done as a pioneer, not just in the South, but also when he migrated out to the West Coast many generations ago. And so I'm grateful to be able to speak his name. And I spoke to Mr. Hodges yesterday, and I won't give everyone all the details of what we talked about, but it's just fun to know that he's still sharp. He's still on top of his game. And he talked about Ted Lampkin last night as well. Of course, we all know he recently lost his life not too long ago, Mr. Lampkin, Ted Lampkin. And so this is to Mr. Hodges. We all love you. We appreciate you. You've got many years, we think, still ahead of you, even though you're 96 years old today. Of course, but we thank you for all that you've ever done. And of course, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren have said the same thing. And so it just brings me honor to be able to mention your name and to be able to write about you, sir. And so I'm thankful to be in this position as an author, but as an even bigger fan of the Tuskegee military experience moving forward. So I thank everyone for giving me this floor, this platform to be able to talk about the legendary Mr. Second Lieutenant Jerry T. Hodges Jr. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Davis.
Yes, sir.
Next week, we have a letter from Memphis Congressman Steve Cohen. This will be presented by Mr. Wiley Henry, who is a constituent service representative for the Tennessee District 9 of Congressman Steve Cohen. So, Mr. Wiley, you have the floor. You may proceed.
It's Willie.
Willie.
Well, actually, it's Wiley.
Willie Henry.
We have a Willie Henry,
Henry.
but I'm Wiley Henry. It's two of us.
Okay, thank
Two
you.
of us.
My
We're not
apologies
twins.
for mispronouncing your name.
Yeah, it's Wiley. You pronounced it correctly. They get us confused, but that's okay. He's a good brother. The congressman, of course, couldn't be here, but it's always good to recognize people like Lieutenant Hodges, and he's quite aware of that. And so I'm here on his behalf. The letter to Second Lieutenant Jerry T. Hodges, on behalf of the citizens of the 9th Congressional District of Tennessee, I join the Memphis chapter Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated and the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, Lieutenant Colonel Luke Weathers Jr.'s Solo Flight Academy in honoring Second Lieutenant Jerry T. Hodges Jr., a documented original Tuskegee Airman. A native Memphian born June 29, 1925, Lieutenant Hodges soared high in World War II after completing the segregated Tuskegee program to become a bona fide member of the prestigious and formidable Tuskegee Airmen. As a result of his service, bravery, gallantry, he and his fellow history-making Tuskegee Airmen would receive plaudits as pioneers who earned their wings despite having to battle the forces of racism in the U.S. military. With his achievements as a Tuskegee Airman, Lieutenant Hodges was able to parlay his military experiences into a successful business over the years and opened his own accounting firm. In addition to founding the Los Angeles branch of the David Rockefeller Interracial Council on Black Opportunity. He also chaired and served as president of the nonprofit Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship Foundation. In 2012, he was inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame. Lieutenant Hodges' education was the crux of his success in business upon returning to civilian life. He first attended Porter Elementary School in Memphis. After the Hodges family moved from one county to another in Arkansas, he would go on to graduate from Robert R. Morton High School in Marianna in 1943 as the school's valedictorian. Then he was off to Hampton Institute, currently Hampton University, where he pursued his lifelong interest in aviation. On behalf of the citizens of the 9th Congressional District of Tennessee, I salute Second Lieutenant Jerry T. Hodges Jr. for his service to this country and bestow upon him honor that he rightfully deserves as a member of the famous Tuskegee Airmen, as well as a successful businessman. As always, I remain most sincerely Steve Corn, Member of Congress.
All right, thank you, Ms. Henry. Next on our agenda, we have Second Lieutenant Jerry Hodges to speak. I don't think he's on the call. Are you there, Mr. Hodges? Or is a representative of his available? Okay, well, we will proceed to the next item. And if he should join us later on, we'll give him an opportunity to speak and answer questions. Next, I would like to turn it over to Ms. Thelma Rudd, and she will proceed from here. Now, Ms. Rudd is, of course, one of the members for us here in Team Memphis in Memphis. And she came up with this idea of honoring Mr. Hodges. And she approached me one day and said, I think we need to honor one of our own, Mr. Hodges. So the concept was turned into reality. She has done a lot of hard work to put this together. So I applaud her and appreciate the efforts that she has made for this particular program. So Ms. Rudd, you may proceed.
Yeah, hello everybody. I thought that Second Lieutenant Hodges was on the line. I want to give him a little bit more time. He had called in earlier. So sir, are you on the line? Okay, unfortunately not. I don't see any questions here in the chat right now. So we can move on to the Weathers family. I think they were going to have a few words.
Jerry Hodges' number is the 310 number. He is on the line. He's muted.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Mr. Hodges, if you're there, could you unmute your phone? Okay.
Hello.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Oh, very good, very good. You know, I'm really surprised, and I am so honored that I'm receiving all of these accolades today. I did not anticipate that. I was thinking primarily that we would be honoring these wonderful students that we have here in Memphis, working on their first solo flight. I would like to tell them particularly that they represent our future. My generation, which is probably about 3 generations ahead of yours, is ancient history, and you probably know very little about my generation, but all of the future is with you now. And your experience here in Memphis in this flight training is something that's almost undreamed of during my day. So you want to take care of it, and you want to be able to participate and know that this is just the beginning of a long and possibly fruitful life for you. I was born there in Memphis, and I went to elementary school at Porter there. Years later, I ran into, after I had gotten into business here in Los Angeles, I received a call from a lady who wanted to know if I could prepare the income taxes for her mother. And I said yes. And she said, well, my mother is she's unable to get out. Will you come to my house and do it? And I said, I'll be happy to. The name sounded familiar, but I paid not too much attention to it. Later on, after the appointment, and I went to the house, I discovered that this lady was my homeroom teacher at Porter Elementary School. I think it was elementary. Anyway, that was one of the surprising things. There's so many things I would like to tell you, students, and I would really like to express my gratitude to all of the participants in this program today. The naming of it and the awards and compliments and things that I'm receiving are completely new to me, and something I never anticipated. But going back, in the future, you students, you young people, with the future ahead of you and with technology like it is today, your future is unlimited. To take advantage of it, you've got to direct your attention and, like expressed in the 4 cardinal principles of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, perseverance is going to be very important. You're going to be disappointed quite often. You're going to meet all kinds of blocks, but by applying yourself, you can overcome. Let me give you an example. When I transferred from Hampton University in Virginia to the University of Southern California in Los Angeles as an advanced sophomore, during the registration, I selected all courses that would apply to me as a upper sophomore. Then when I went in for the review of my schedule for the semester, this counselor looked at me and he said, you know, you're coming to one of the leading universities in the United States, and to come in as a advanced sophomore may be a little difficult for you. I said, why would you think that? He said, well, the school you went to, referring to Hampton, they don't have the quality. I said, look, some of the classes I took was in anticipation of being admitted and attending University of Southern California. And I'm going from here. I do not have time to go back and repeat other things to please someone else. Okay, so they accepted it, and I entered as an advanced sophomore. One of the first things I noticed after I got into these classes was that all these other students were just as dumb as I was. They were just as dumb as I was, and I had to really buckle down and study to keep up with what was being presented. You are going to receive this same kind of treatment from time to time, and you can overcome by really buckling down and participating and following all of the former leaders that we have followed. Some of my experiences in opening my practice of public accounting as a CPA, there was one other minority CPA in the city at the time. And I went to him. I thought maybe perhaps I could get some kind of experience with him. He said, "Oh, yes, you can. You go out and get some accounts and bring them in, and then we will talk about it." Well, that wouldn't work. But what I eventually ended up doing was buying a practice from another USC graduate who wanted to move out of the country. For the first 3 years of this practice, of converting his practice to my practice, I could not draw 1 penny out of it because it was more important for my employees to be paid on time. So that was my sacrifice. Fortunately, I had been into some other ventures before opening up, and I was able to survive that way. There's so many things that I can tell you about the Tuskegee Airmen and Mr. Calvin King there. Mr. King is like another generation following the original Tuskegee Airmen. But he has been a loyal person and has developed and helped lead that chapter in Memphis. Through all these years, I've been really surprised that he's managed to do it. But going back, with the Tuskegee Airmen, they sponsor, there is a scholarship foundation that was set up by the Los Angeles chapter, and they issue grants to students all across the country. Be aware, and this will apply to you. Each chapter of Tuskegee Airmen can submit 5 scholarship applications every year. We do that because we only give out 60 grants a year, plus a few special grants. And it amounts to $1,500, which is not very much. But here's the difference. Most scholarships will fall under some kind of program that the colleges have, where they will use the scholarship to determine how much they will provide for you, and you'll end up having to borrow money. Our grants are to the student, only to the student, and it is for his personal use for buying books and supplies, which most students are in need of help when they get there. Remember that, and you here, participants in the flight program, I'm sure you're going to be headed straight on to college when you get through our trade school. Remember that if we can help you in any way, you want to apply for that grant, you do it in your senior year through the local Tuskegee Airmen chapter. I could keep on going. I'd like to tell you some of my experiences in flying, even though I didn't go overseas. My class was the largest one to graduate from Tuskegee cadet training. I think we had 39 to graduate after three retired people in the class who did not continue to graduate. But it was the largest class, and we were the third class to fly the B-25 bomber in advanced training. The B-25 bomber was the one that General Doolittle used to take out from naval ships and fly over to bomb Japan, the first bombing that Japan had from America. It was an excellent airplane, very, very hardy. And, I could go on, but I'm not going to. If you have any questions and I can answer them, I certainly will try. My email address is anoldwarrior@gmail.com in the event you would like to write to me. And I thank you so much. I thank the Memphis chapter for its participation, and it's honoring me because I really didn't know I would get such an honor. Thank you so much. If I've said something 2 or 3 times, please forgive me. Remember, I'm 96 years old, and I just stopped working a couple of years ago. If you have any questions. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Calvin takes it.
Hello?
Okay, so Calvin, you can take it from here.
Mr. Calvin, it's probably
Okay,
putting me asleep.
I should be back. I should be back now. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's go to Mr. Hodges. You can hold on for a moment. At the end, we may have a chance for some additional questions. You've answered the ones that I had noted earlier when you were speaking. So we should hear from one of or two of Lieutenant Colonel Luke Weathers' children. And I believe Luke III is on there. So, Mr. Weathers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lieutenant Hodges, let me say that I'm glad you were able to get on the Zoom meeting. It is an honor to be a participant, to honor you today, sir. In reading your bio, I can kind of relate to my life now. There are things that I'm doing socially to bring social change in my community, in my church, in my country. And seeing you as an example as far as the educational strife and the students there, you really need to take this to heart. I found out that education is a powerful tool. I am involved with a group, well, several groups, but one particular group my wife and I participate in. We discuss racism, prejudices. We actually have 1 or 2 people in the group who are pronounced white supremacists. And the discussions, things that they don't know, things that they were brought up to believe, like, for example, African Americans are dirty and nasty and smell and stuff like that. They are in the group to find out basically why they feel the way that they do. And like I said, looking at your bio really inspired me to continue. It gave me more energy to continue this because it's not an easy process. And also relating back to my immediate family, I try to talk to my granddaughters as much as possible about education, because for us right now as a people, our education is being limited or masked or trying to be eliminated. For example, there was years that people didn't even know about the Tuskegee Airmen. I mean, it was a secret in this country that they even existed. I was talking to my granddaughter just yesterday. And I asked her who discovered America, and she said Christopher Columbus. And I said, well, do you know Christopher Columbus never set foot in the United States? He did discover the northern hemisphere, but he never set foot in the United States. I didn't know that, Grandpa. These are the things that I'm talking about, you know, that we really have to let our kids know about, relate to. And like I said, you've been an inspiration to me. I mean, we even got things going on in Tennessee right now. This crazy governor we got, Lee, has just signed a bill into law where they can't teach systemic racism in the school system, but that's part of history. Yeah. So these are the things that you've inspired me, Lieutenant Hodges, and I applaud you again to continue what I'm doing. Thanks.
Thank you very much for the compliment, sir. And I found out that as you go along, and if you're applying yourself, you will find yourself drawn into doing things for the community. And that is really helpful and forward-looking. Without even trying, it will just occur. For example, when I was with the ICBO, ICBO, that was established by the Rockefeller, one of the Rockefellers back in New York, just in time to be ready to work with here in Los Angeles with the race riot that came about in 1965. We were the first organization to really get in and work, set up programs and work with people that had been harmed and for one reason or the other, disabled because of the riot that we had. And from that, I accidentally got into the Scholarship Foundation by just volunteering to help one of the chairmen. And as soon as I said, you know, I'll help, the next thing I knew, he was retiring, and there I was. And for 12 years, leading the organization, we did quite well without really trying, because we built it from a $700,000 capital to a little over $1,300,000 in the 12 years that I worked with them. I'm happy that I gave you some encouragement, sir. Thank you, and please continue with what you're doing.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Before we move on to the next item, is Miss Trina Weathers on the call? Okay, we will proceed with the thank you coming from the Luke Weathers Flight Academy, the Solo Flight Academy, that is. So Miss Silva Ford, you may proceed.
Good afternoon. Happy belated birthday, Second Lieutenant Hodges. Before I start, I'm a flight instructor here at the Academy, and I'm super happy to do this thank you today. So recently I was asked 40 years from now, what would I like for my legacy to look like? At the time I was unable to answer, but over the years, I've learned of great aviators such as Lieutenant Colonel Luke Weathers Jr. and Lieutenant Jerry Hodges Jr. So through them, I've learned of what it means to have a meaningful legacy. A meaningful legacy is not one that's only decorated with awards and achievements, but ultimately it's one that servicing others was a major part of the blueprint. It is an honor to recognize and be amongst Second Lieutenant Hodges today, as his story serves as an inspiration for students such as myself during those critical times in my flight training. On behalf of the students and instructors at the Luke Weathers Flight Academy today, I would like to say thank you, sir, for having the fortitude and courage to continue on and press on and ultimately create a pathway for us today. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, then for the students of the Academy, again, I think the words from Lieutenant Hodges were very important. It's going to be rough sometimes ahead of you. I went to pilot training, and out of 10 of us, I was the only one to finish at that particular time. And I was not the smartest one in the group, but I think I was probably the most determined one in the group. So I think personality has a lot to do with it too. There are people out there that will help you if you give them a chance, people that will help you if you have the right attitude. But if you have the wrong attitude, people will not feel sorry for you. They will let you set your own trap and then fall into it. So continue to do your best, work hard, and don't give up. And there's something good for you waiting at the end. Well, that's all we have on the program. So we will end this unless either Ms. Rudd or Captain Glenn has something else.
Just thank you.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Calvin, thank you
Happy birthday.
for moderating.
Right. And thank you.
Yeah, these birthdays come so fast. Before you know it, you know, you look when you're young. How long time it takes to get to be a senior citizen. But when you get involved in living and in progressing and working and going on, you forget about that. And then when you look around, you say, what happened to all the time? Because here you are, like me, 96 years old, you know, and then where did it go? How did it happen? What did I do to qualify to live this long? But I'm grateful and I'm thankful.
Happy birthday, Jerry. Joycelyn from Los Angeles chapter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Jerry, we're both on. Sheila Chamberlain here. We showed up for you today.
Hi, Sheila. I was wondering if I was going to be able to get a word from you.
Yes, this is your day.
To.
This is your day, and I just wanted to sit back and let you talk to all of these young people. We love you, and we're glad. Thank you again to the Memphis chapter for doing this. This is quite indeed a day. And like I said in the chat room, Jerry, anybody who gets recognized by their hometown that's pretty special. And Jerry, you're a pretty special man. So you're one of the greats in my life as well. And you're one of the greats in a lot of our lives at our chapter. And I was telling some of the members of this chapter, you know, we're losing a lot of folks. And, you know, this week, forgive me for being protective of you because you just lost another friend this week. So I'm here for you. And we're here right here. Jocelyn and I are right here on the call. So happy birthday and more to come with your own chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Chamberlain. You have made my day.
I'm right here with you, Jerry.
All right. Once again, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And we appreciate all the important lessons that we've picked up today. And what a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get a chance to hear from Mr. Hodges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And have a good day to you.
All right. Good day.